What is going on, everybody? Welcome in. Thanks for joining us here on Alarm Fantasy Football. I'm Howard Bender. I got Andrew Cooper with me here today. Of course, I got him here every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on Alarm Fantasy Football trade talk today. That's going to be the priority. We're going to give you our fantasy football buy lows and sell highs. And of course, we're going to track through all the news that you need to know to set those lineups for NFL Week 9. Coop, how the hell are you? Were you awake when the announcement hit that the Raiders cleaned house, firing Dave Ziegler, their general manager, Josh McDaniels, their head coach, and Mick Lombardi, their offensive coordinator, all bye-bye? It was like the Browns moving from Cleveland from Baltimore to Indianapolis in the middle of the night.
Middle of the night, yeah. I'm up with the kiddo, dude. So yeah, that was me out there just kind of lurking around. Like, I see you guys try to sneak in the band. They got the band in there, and they dropped a cymbal, and I heard it, and I was like, wait a second, you guys, are you guys kicking?
That was like he dropped the cymbal, the drum kit. He like stepped over it and into it. Like that was just clumsy.
Like your chili dropping gif over there, dude. But yeah, yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm excited for McDaniels to come on home. Right, I said it on the last show. Howard, you can set your calendar to it. The week that they do sign McDaniels, you'll see that weekend Juju Smith-Schuster will throw a touchdown pass to Pop Douglas. That's when you know Josh McDaniels will be back home in New England. So yeah, set your calendar. That'll be exciting.
I just saw a tweet from at Shooter McGavin. I love that account. It's always fun, but it was that segment from Billy Madison. The caption was Josh McDaniels upon his first meeting with Bill Belichick after this. And it was like the Billy Madison part being like, I was wrong. You were right. I'm stupid. You're smart.
That's amazing, dude.
It's Mac Jones season now, apparently.
We're back.
I actually put him into the DFS watch list this week because of this matchup that the Patriots have coming up. It's a soft matchup. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Washington has just been decimated. We talked on the trade deadline yesterday, of getting rid of Montez Sweat and Chase Young. So there's no pass rush. There's no coverage in the secondary. And now if there's a possibility that Josh McDaniels is like a consultant this week.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Dante Scarnecchia, the week that they inducted him in the Patriots Hall of Fame, They had him. They inducted Dante Scarnecchia in the Patriots Hall of Fame, legendary Patriots O-line coach. And that week they come out while they have him in the building, they beat the Bills. Now we're getting the old gang back together, Howard. It's only a matter of time, dude. So just saying. And I'll tell you, the guy that most exciting for me from that offense, Pop Douglas, man. I think that guy, he's got some pop to him. And if you can get him in space, they tried to get him screens that didn't work, but if you can get him in space against a team like this, he can make some noise. So that's a sneaky pairing, a little Mac and Pop.
Pop Douglas also in the DFS watch list. Just for you, Coop. I know him as DeMario, as does the rest of the world. And if you're looking for Pop Douglas on ESPN or Yahoo, it doesn't exist. Right?
Sorry about that. DeMario.
I was looking through until everybody made the change to Tank Dell. Everybody was like, who the hell is Nathaniel Dell?
That's right. Yeah.
Who is this guy?
And it's funny how that does happen where some players, their nickname just becomes their name and you don't even know. Like Cadillac Williams. His name wasn't Cadillac, dude. It was, I can't remember what his real name was.
It doesn't matter what his nickname
exactly. What his first
name was. He wasn't even worth the nickname Cadillac. Yeah. That was the problem.
That's true.
That was like Buick Skylark Williams. Maybe Williams. Oldsmobile Williams.
Oh, come on now, dude.
We're getting it here. Adam Bernard, our producer. Carnell Lamar Cadillac Williams. Yeah, all right. So
stick with Cadillac, dude.
Car Lamar. Hey, obviously I would have done Car Lamar.
That's my favorite when T.Y. Hilton. His is where I'm like, what do you think his name is? It turns out that his name is actually Eugene Marquise. And he's called TY because his dad's name was Tyrone, and everyone used to call him Tyrone's youngin. That's so his TY, yeah. But crazy how that goes, man. But hey, hard to argue. TY is better than Eugene Marquise. I'll definitely say that.
Wow. All right. Well, my friend Eugene says otherwise, and he'll probably I'll give him your private number there, Coop, and he can take that up with you. In the meantime, forget about like the impact of Josh McDaniels going to the Patriots, because that hasn't happened yet. But let's talk about what we've got going on right now with the Raiders. Antonio Pierce, he's promoted to the head coaching position. I don't even know who's doing the offensive coordinator, because you're taking the linebackers coach and you're making him the head coach. And so I see getting the game. I see Tommy over here says grab Aidan O'Connell in the chat. But I mean, let's talk about the fallout here, because we did receive word that Aidan O'Connell is going to be the starter this week. You've got Davante Adams, who, I mean, he caught 1 of 7 passes this past week, and he's not happy. So what's your expectation? The only Raider who did something of any kind of note was Josh Jacobs, who averaged 4.1 yards per carry and got into the end zone for, the 3rd time this season. So where are you at with the Raiders right now, looking ahead for them?
I'm honestly, this week especially, I'm willing to buy the narrative. We've seen it time and time again where it's a toxic situation. The players don't respect the coach. And when that coach gets fired, everybody's got a little chip on their shoulder. They come out playing a little fired up, and the game gets simplified, right? So we saw it with the Jaguars when they fired, they fired Urban Meyer. Jaguars came out and I think they won that next game, dude. We've seen it happens with the Browns every other year, right? So like with the,
I have data for that. I was going to save that for the Better Sports Betting Show with Dan Servidinio, but
I don't want to blow you up here, dude.
I'll sneak it into you here. You ready? Here we go. This came out. This information was updated right when Urban Meyer had gotten fired. So 32 teams have fired their head coach during the regular season since 2003. Those teams have gone 15-17 straight up the game after, and then 17-15 against the spread. Now, a 46.9% straight up win rate might not look great, but those teams had an 84-229-2 record, a 26.8% win percentage prior to the head coaching change. They also compiled a 116, 193-5 against the spread record prior to the coaching change. So while 15-17 straight up, 17-15 against the spread isn't eye-popping, if you compare it to what these teams had done before, that's huge. Raiders -1 hosting the New York Football Giants this week.
Yeah, I'm in. Smash for sure. And I'm getting Davante Adams in. I'm getting Jacoby Myers in. Josh Jacobs too. Why not? I mean, going against the Giants too, so the matchup's nice. So yeah,
a big old Raiders stack, a nasty ass Raiders stack.
Gross, dude. Get AOC in there. I don't know.
Oh, come on.
Right? Can't do that.
O'Connell with Davante and Jacoby, right? And that's your stack for whatever for your like GPP tournament. And then you go with a in your cash games, you go with Josh Jacobs running against the Giants. He's going to see some volume there. Probably going to be a decent play.
I'm in for it. The thing is, I got to do some research on this guy calling plays because I don't know. I'll admit, today is the first day I heard his name. Bo Hardigree. I never heard of that guy, dude.
Yeah, Bo Hardigree. Yeah.
So I don't know. Do you know anything about him? I don't know much about him.
Nope.
Yeah. So I'll look into it. I'll look into it after the show before our show tonight, 5 to 7. So that's what I'm going to do in between.
Oh, that's right. Coop. Yeah. 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern. We got a little love letters going on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. So tune in for that. What else we got, Coop?
Yeah. So, I mean, we got to talk about some of these trades, right? Like, what are your thoughts on the Washington just cleaning out their defense? I don't understand trading both Montez Sweat and Chase Young unless it's attitude related. I mean, where are you at with that? It seems crazy. It seems like crazy behavior to me. But you know what? New ownership group. Sometimes they do crazy stuff.
New ownership group. They want to change the culture. I'm sure that there has been issues with Montez Sweat and Chase Young. I mean, listen, when you're looking at a talent like Chase Young and you realize statistically that Washington has been better defensively without him than with him, that kind of says something. And, you kind of wonder what his impact is on the rest of the team and on the rest of the players. But like you said, new regime, they want to put their own stamp here on this team. And if that means I don't know where they are in the tanking realm for Caleb Williams, but, or they're just going to rebuild around Sam Howell, which I don't think would be a terrible thing. I mean, the dude just slings the rock constantly. He's got weapons. So if you can improve certain things like the offensive line and then just rebuild that defense, I think it's a possibility.
Right. And I think when you're a team, the thing with a team like the Commanders, right? We were 3-5. You also got to look around at the other teams that are bad and start counting how many teams have already got a quarterback, right? So the Panthers are 1-6. Do they draft another quarterback or after just drafting Bryce Young? The Bears are 2-6, but they've got Justin Fields, right? The Cardinals are 1-7. They're obviously in the mix, but maybe they do decide to keep Kyler Murray, right? So it's teams like the Patriots, obviously 2-6. They would draft a quarterback, but pretty much every other team in the Patriots are the only team in the AFC that don't have 3 wins. So there's not a lot of teams in the AFC that are kind of in the tank mix. And like the Bengals are at the bottom of their division. They're not going for a quarterback. The Colts aren't going for a quarterback. So honestly, 3-5 teams like that, they're very much in the mix because all you have to do is get close enough to trade with the Panthers, trade with the Bears. So I don't know, man. I don't think it's a crazy move to kind of gut your defense and just try and tank.
I don't think it's the greatest move either, but I mean, again,
no, I don't think it's crazy. I don't think it's crazy to do.
I don't think it's crazy, but I mean, again, it's going to be very interesting to see, what happens. Like, who are the other teams that are, likely to be in that realm? And you know what? And then there are teams that are in the playoff hunt here who might not have a great pick, who are still in dire need of a quarterback. Let's talk about the Atlanta Falcons, who it was announced today by everybody's best friend, Arthur Smith, that it's going to be Taylor Heinicke under center. So now all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, here we go. Drake London, Kyle Pitts, they're going to pop off. It's going to be great. It's going to be, absolutely spectacular. And we'll see what happens with that. But, the Falcons sitting at 4-4, they're on top of the division right now. They're going to be competing for this divisional title. Are they a team that has, the capital to potentially trade away in order to move up and go after Caleb Williams? Because clearly they have a quarterback issue.
Right. They not only have the capital, but they might have, some of these pieces, like teams might be interested in Kyle Pitts, to be honest. Like they saw him have a 1,000-yard season with Matt Ryan. So if they're trying to change things up and rebuild, it might not just be capital, but also other, players they can mix in and throw them in there. I'll tell you what, though, I warned people this offseason about the Sam Howells of the world and the Desmond Ritters of the world, and everybody wants to get excited. But you have to factor in teams don't look at these guys the way we do when they draft them in the 3rd round, in the 5th round. We were all fired up for Davis Mills, but he was a 3rd round pick, and they sat there and said, you have one chance right now to do it, and he didn't do it, and he was gone. Desmond Ritter just had that chance. Sam Howell's chance is right now. If you can trade Sam Howell in your Dynasty Superflex leagues, I might consider doing it because I think this team really is looking for a quarterback. And, obviously the floor just fell out on whatever Desmond Ritter was worth, and Taylor Heinicke's not worth anything. So it can happen like that with these guys that are drafted 1 or 2 overall. I mean, it can happen with the guys that are. Look at Josh Rosen. The value for him fell through the floor like immediately.
Josh Rosen.
So be very careful.
Toretta.
Yeah. So if you don't truly believe in these guys, it might be, you might want to sell before they turn into a pumpkin.
Don't count out the Rams too. They're at 3-5 right now. Matthew Stafford dealing with a UCL issue here in his thumb. Yeah. So that all of a sudden, God, Sean McVay just licking his chops thinking about Caleb Williams. He's like, so tasty, so good.
I hope he's not doing it like that.
He's doing exactly like that.
That's how I imagine Mark Davis definitely eating like PF Chang's or whatever he does.
Right? Doesn't he go to PF Chang's like every day?
Like every single day, right? In his van, right? And he's just like,
his van.
JJ McCarthy.
Oh my Lord. All right, before we get to some buy low, sell highs, let's chill over here at the chat. Let's see what everybody's who's here. A little roll call action, right? We want to focus on trades, but obviously, listen, we know that here we are now going into week 9. it's probably okay to get some lineup questions in there. We don't want to do it, and we'll probably tell you in a number of situations to just hit us up on Friday, considering all the news that comes through. I'll say this, dude. This slate, this week of games, this is not fun. This is not a good slate of games. I don't know if I just put out the DFS watch list over at Fantasy Alarm. You guys can go check it out over there. I mean, the main slate is crap. The main slate is absolute dog crap because, you got Miami against Kansas City in Germany. So those guys aren't in play. Buffalo, Cincinnati is the Sunday night game. They're not in play. The Chargers are on Monday Night Football, so Herbert and company, they're not in play. And then Dallas is taking on Philadelphia. Right. So, both these defenses, it's got a decent, over-under on it in comparison to the rest of the slate. But I think that the highest over-under in this week is 46.
Yeah. Lions on bye, 49ers on bye.
Oh, yeah. This
Jaguars on bye.
But look at these matchups, too. It's like Minnesota, Atlanta, Arizona, Cleveland. Do we really want to invest in the Browns because Arizona's defense is so bad? That's a tough spot to be.
Minnesota Falcons actually probably would have been a good game if Kirk Cousins was healthy. That would have actually been, that one would have bailed us out a little bit, but now with Jaron Hall, it's a terrible game.
I'm kind of wondering if, I'm looking at Seattle, Baltimore.
I was looking at that one
be
too.
The game that pops?
Yeah, it's going to have to be, dude. It's going to have to be. Or Washington. You better.
Dude, no, I'm double
You do something, you stupid birds.
I'm double stacking Indianapolis against Carolina, and then I'm going Saints against the Bears. So all my lineups will all be Colts and Saints.
It's like Lord of the Rings when the birds come and pick them up and save them. And it's we need the Seahawks and Ravens to save us. Come get us, baby. Yeah, because it's gonna be bad, man. It's gonna be real bad. I'll tell you what. It's funny you mentioned how ugly it is. I was sitting down to do my tight end rankings, and my first thought was okay. How high can I rank Dalton Kincaid without looking biased and without looking like that guy, right? So I'm thinking that was my first thought. Then when I got in and started looking around, I was like, Jesus, there's nobody to rank. I'm there's no Laporta, there's no Kittle, there's no Ingram. Hawkinson just lost his quarterback. Darren Waller's got 2 hamstring issues. I'm looking around, I'm this guy's top 5 by default. I was I don't even have to put him, higher than anybody else. It's crazy.
I saw that. I saw you had him at 4th in the rankings over at Fantasy Alarm, and I was like, wow, that's kind of low for where I'm sure Coop wanted to rank.
I thought about 3. But Dallas Goedert has been a lot more consistent lately, especially with he's getting more screen passes, he's more involved. So, but it's close. Let's see what happens by Sunday morning.
I don't even want to see what's going to happen by Sunday morning.
I see somebody in the chat saying, Dalton Kincaid or Mark Andrews, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I don't know. It's Mark Andrews, but
it is Mark Andrews. Although I tell you what, it's kind of funny because neither Cincinnati nor Seattle covers the tight end very well, particularly well. They both rank pretty low in DVOA, although Seattle really hasn't given up a ton of fantasy points to the tight end position.
Yeah.
As opposed to the Bengals, who have given up a lot.
Yeah, last year the Seahawks were pretty bad versus tight ends. I think, getting Bobby Wagner has helped at least a little bit, but, I don't know. You got to start Mark Andrews if you got him.
Yeah, that's my feeling as well. All right, over in the chat, John Smith hanging out here says, thanks for helping. Between Jonathan Taylor, Breece Hall, and Kenneth Walker, who would you bench?
You cannot bench Breece Hall. He's just too exciting. He's going against the Chargers too. I think I would consider, with him being nicked up, I would consider benching Kenneth Walker and just starting Kenneth Walker against the Ravens and starting Jonathan Taylor against the Panthers. What do you think?
Yeah, we saw it, right? Jonathan Taylor had a 60% snap share, 30% to Zach Moss. They did split carries fairly evenly, but it definitely looks like they're ready to go full blown here on Jonathan Taylor. Let Zach Moss handle mop up duty if necessary, which will be against Carolina. So, because there's 0 chance Carolina puts up a fight against the Colts that they put up against the Houston Texans this past week, which reminds me, it's my daily up yours, CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud pulled my pants down in front of my friends last week.
To me.
I was so pissed, dude. Come on. I was like, come on, dude. And then Andrew Beck rushing touchdown. My God, dude.
Oh, I know. That was just mean. That was cruel. It was mean, especially after Dameon Pierce, after they reviewed that Dameon Pierce didn't get in. Right. I was like, all right, bring in Singletary. What the hell are you giving it to Beck for?
I mean, the thing is, there's been a few of those this year where it's like you can't single out one analyst because everybody was on him. Like the Logan Thomas game where he had just the one catch game. Like everybody was on Logan Thomas. Everybody was on Stroud this week. Everyone was on Nico Collins. So you know what? Sometimes just bad beats. Bad beats
happen. All right, Coop, get your Twitch glasses ready here.
Yeah, Twitch gang, baby.
G Gallon 40. Should I drop Goff for Kyler Murray?
If
Goff's
Goff
is bye this week. Who's your other QB?
Who's your other QB? Yeah, who are you starting this week? That's kind of important to me. I do love the upside of Kyler Murray. Goff is he's stapled into that back end QB1 range. Right? Like he's no more, no less. So he's a fine player, but sometimes you just got to go sell out for upside. So if you have a decent player this week, I think I would consider it.
Yeah. All right. We'll see. Hopefully G Gallon will tell us who his QB is. In the meantime, Jacob Anders in the house here says he's got an empty spot on his roster. Looking to grab a running back, Justice Hill, Devin Singletary, or Roschon Johnson.
I'm most excited about Roschon Johnson. He looked good before he got hurt, before he got banged up. Donta Foreman was a healthy scratch. I think he might be able to claw away that job as we move down the stretch, whereas we know what they want to do with Gus Edwards and Justice Hill. Chop them up. Devin Singletary is a split back on a bad team, so I think it's Roschon.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. All right. Yeah. Oh, Sean123 says, hit that like button, y'all. Yeah. Listen, if you guys are in here in the Fantasy Alarm YouTube page, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. Coop and I would very much appreciate that. That's how he, supports his alien baby.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. I mean,
how was Thanksgiving? How was Halloween with the with you and the wife were aliens and your astronaut baby Laney?
I got to admit, and I got to apologize to the Fantasy Alarm members, is that I figured that Halloween with a 13-week-old baby would be an hour max of, you know what I mean? Like, put on some costumes, take some pictures. Oh, look, the dog's got a costume. You know what I mean? Like, and then we'd be done. And then I could do the rankings and get my stuff done. Now, dude, no. Once you have a baby, all the neighbors are like, now you have to like come and do all this Halloween stuff with us. And like, I was, walking around my wife and I'm like, we're pushing a stroller with a baby that can't even eat anything, but can't eat food at all. I'm like, I did have fun. Shout out my neighbors, it was a blast, but it ended up being a whole event. So I guess moving forward, Howard, on my schedule, I guess once you have a kid, no matter how old the kid is, Halloween is a big pomp and
You're
circumstance.
Probably already starting to plan Laney's first birthday. That's going to be a whole event, dude.
Oh yeah, dude.
You better call the caterer now.
Dude, the one person I've already called is I called Bob Lung and I said, here's my daughter's birthday, July 31st. Here are the weekends that the expo can be. Every weekend except for this one weekend. That's the one call I've made so far. Hopefully he can accommodate that, dude. But yeah, that's the tough schedule, man. Yeah. I mean, there's weekends right around there that would work well, Bob. Just saying.
All right. So Sean says, also, how do you guys feel about buying David Montgomery as a running back depth at 100%?
Yeah. Yeah. He's going to be cheaper than ever right now. And he's a great player. That's the factor here. This isn't a situation where they were just using him because he was just there. He looked awesome, and he is awesome.
Yeah. I think it's a fantastic buy low opportunity if you can. Like, that's the thing. Like, people say that they want to buy low, and then they offer up, like, premium prices, right? Like, I mean, you don't walk into the dollar store and say, I'm going to give you $10 for this. You walk into the dollar store, you say, I only got 50 cents in my pocket. Can I get something? Like that's the big misconception here. So you know what? I'll tell you what, in honor of Sean123 here, we give you Fantasy Alarm's favorite buy low sell high candidates. Coop, buy low. Who's your favorite this week?
Yeah, I got to go with a guy I mentioned yesterday because, we do a little underdog action and I like where he's set for this week. But DK Metcalf to me, most fantasy gamers are casual enough that they'll look at where they guys are ranked in the season-long PPR standings, where DK's wide receiver 44. They might be smart enough to go in and look at the points per game where he's wide receiver 28, but they won't realize that this team has had tough matchups. DK's dealt with injuries. This week he had the flu and was throwing up all night, right? And I'm sure he's sad that this is a guy that eats a lot of candy and it's Halloween. I'm sure he's he was probably just throwing up because he ate too much candy on Saturday, to be honest, knowing DK Metcalf. But he's very sick and he still got 14 targets. This guy led the league in end zone targets last year. He's the only player in the league that for 4 years in a row has had double-digit end zone targets. I think DK Metcalf is going to come back. He's going to continue to get targets, and he's going to score some touchdowns. So I'm willing to go out and grab him, knowing that he's like, wide receiver 28, and I think he's a pretty locked-in wide receiver 2 rest of the way, to be honest. So DK, come on down.
I love it. My buy low here, I'm going to go with James Conner. He's not expected back this week. He's probably coming back the week after. So this is the opportunity right now with bye weeks in play. And the Christian McCaffrey owner could be hard up looking for somebody. The Jahmyr Gibbs owner could be hard up looking for somebody. Whoever's got James Conner, go and approach them and see what you can offer them in order to get Conner, bring him onto your roster, pop him onto your IR for a week if you want, go to waivers, find a player. But to me, James Conner, especially with Kyler Murray going to be under center. I know that a lot of people don't like utilizing running backs with mobile quarterbacks. Like you don't really love being invested in Gus Edwards when you've got Lamar Jackson. However, Murray's still coming back from this knee injury. So he's going to do what he does. However, we've also seen Kyler Murray hold himself back. So not to put his knee at risk or at further risk from where he is right now. So when Murray comes back, they're going to lean on Conner once he returns. They're not going to DeMercado. They're not going to Keontae Ingram. When Conner comes back, he's the guy. So see who's got bye week issues right now and has James Conner. Feed him a player if you can, whether it's wide receiver or another running back, something to that effect. But go grab James Conner because you're going to be able to ride him through the tail end of this entire season, the rest of the way.
If you think that this team's going to get down to the goal line and have, in a season that doesn't matter to them, and they're going to have their 5'10" quarterback with a big bulky knee brace doing QB sneaks and doing tush pushes, you're outside of your mind. It's going to be James Conner, and this falls into my favorite category to draft and to buy. Players that have never been bad, they've just been hurt. Like James Conner is good. He's a good player. So as long as he's healthy, he's good to go. It's just that he's gotten hurt every single year, but we're kind of through that part right now. So yeah, I'm in. Let's do it.
Cancer survivor. He can get as hurt as he wants to be as long as he's on the field the majority of the time, which
Tough guy. Yeah.
I love it. All right. Those are our buy lows, our sell highs. Coop, who you got?
Yeah, so for me, this one's tough because I know I want to sell. We're doing that segment again.
That only works good on radio.
It does only work good on radio. Just okay. Well, yeah. Make sure we clip this one, Bernard. This is a good one, dude.
This is the content everybody's here for.
Here's the thing. I don't know. So I know I want to sell the player now. It's just who do you go out and try and get if you're going to target the same position? But George Kittle right now is probably the most obvious sell high candidate there's ever been. He has 8 games this year. Well, one of those games was like an anomaly. He 3 touchdowns on 3 catches against the Cowboys. So that game is kind of out the window. So in the other games, he has had 6 or fewer PPR points in 4 of those games when Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey were healthy. In the other 3 games, he's been great. When Ayuk was out, he was great. The last 2 weeks with Deebo Samuel out, he's been great. But guess what? The most predictable thing ever is about to happen. Deebo Samuel's about to come back. He's about to go back to the guy that is a touchdown-dependent, hit-or-miss, boom-bust type player on a team that has a million weapons, and a lot of times they just win the game with Christian McCaffrey or Debo or whatever. So the problem with guys like that is down the stretch in fantasy playoffs, you need to win 3 games in a row. If he has one game, one of these 6 PPR points or less games, you're in big trouble. So if you could take George Kittle plus another player and get Mark Andrews or get Travis Kelce and upgrade, or even get Sam Laporta, or even do a trade where you do a lateral move to an Evan Engram or a Dallas Goedert, I would try and do that right now. I would try to do it right now before Debo gets back.
I'm going to jump into the tight end fray here as well. And I'm going to say, you know what? Sell high on Travis Kelce Swift. What? Oh my God. You know, you can go to trade. You can go to the Sam Laporta owner and say, I'll give you Travis Kelce for Laporta and somebody else. You know that you can do that. There are a couple of different tight ends that you can definitely do that with and feel comfortable about. You know, the Chiefs have the Dolphins this week, then they come back, and then they've got the Eagles, and the Eagles is a great, I mean, that's like the ultimate opportunity to have Travis Kelce showcased, and then you sell him right afterwards. He's going to have a blow-up game because the Eagles are terrible in covering the tight end. Now, I can talk about the fact that Taylor Swift is going to be on her international tour and that Travis Kelce averages just 50 yards per game when she's not in the house. Maybe there's a little forlornness going on. I don't know. Listen, you watch the New Heights podcast stuff that they air. He is definitely a smitten guy, but it's not even so much that. It's the fact that down the stretch, what you're going to see is you're going to see the Bills, the Patriots, you're going to see the Bengals again coming up for Travis Kelce as the season wanes during your fantasy playoffs. All right. What we saw last year is something that we're going to see again. There were a number of teams, especially with the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs did not go and pick up another wide receiver at the trade deadline, something I very much thought they should do because you need a complement to Kelce and Rashee Rice. The rest of that hodgepodge group, to me, isn't cutting it. And so what you're going to see is you're going to see a significant number of double teams on Kelce as we go through in that stretch. Bills, Patriots, Bengals. You throw in the Raiders there also, they'll probably do it as well. They'll scheme against him. That's what we're seeing a lot of towards the tail end of the season. So go out there, just get that value. You know, you're going to get somebody who's going to pay a premium price for it, especially if you're in a keeper league. Right. So if you need to make that push, whether it's to make it into the playoffs or really just kind of build your depth for your playoff run, this is where you want to go. If you've got Travis Kelce, I have no problem selling off on him.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, with the Patriots, I know, different teams, different personnel. They still have Kyle Duggar. I went back to look at it, and that's going to be a fantasy playoff matchup that Travis Kelce not only has never had 100 yards against the Patriots, he's never had 70 yards against the Patriots. The Patriots, they'll straight up tell you that what they do is take away what you do best. Bill Belichick doesn't tell us anything, but he admits to that. He admits that we try and take away what you do best, and that's what they do every time they play the Chiefs. They say, hey, if we're going to lose this game, it's not going to be because of this guy. So that's going to be a very dangerous matchup for you. Be very careful. It's interesting that trading Travis Kelce it feels scary, but when you go back and look at it, is he this year that much higher than Mark Andrews, that much of a difference maker compared to Sam Laporta? I don't know.
Listen, at some point, the wheels are going to fall off the wagon, and as great of a player as Travis Kelce is, he's not going to do this forever. Do you want to be the one left holding the bag at the end when the bottom falls out? Probably not.
I thought he was invincible, but he missed a game this year already.
Oh. All right, let's go back to the chat here. Let's see what we got going on. Get your Twitch glasses on. Louis K4 says, start Rice or Downs? Is this not the most common question that we've gotten off of these two rookie wide receivers? Josh Downs, a PPR dreamboat for Gardner Minshew. Rashee Rice, a steady increase in snaps and targets among for the Chiefs. So
yeah, I mean, that's what happens when we talk about these players. These are players we like. So obviously, people watching these shows, hanging out with Fantasy Alarm, they're going to have these players in a lot of teams, and that's a good thing because they've been great. For me, I love Downs. I think Downs is a very safe play, but I just want as many pieces of this German shootout as possible, dude. 50.5 over under is perfect. 1 or 2 point spread, perfect. That's like the conditions that we need, man. If this game was on U.S. soil, there would be no red flags or anything. Obviously, you got to worry a little bit about these international games, but the logistics are generally figured out at this point. So I am very excited to get pieces of that game, as many as I can. I think I'm going to go Rice over Downs just for the upside, man.
Sounds good. All right. M. Rojas in the house here. What's going on? Laporta, Jacoby Myers, and Deonta Foreman for Engram and Josh Jacobs. I feel like I want to be on the Laporta side, even though I'm not like a big Foreman guy.
Yeah, it depends. It really, again, depends who your running backs are. Because I do like Jacobs a lot. And if you're not using Foreman at all, like if Foreman's a guy you're never ever starting, I would rather have Engram and Jacobs than Laporta and Jacoby. So let us know who your other running back is, because that's the question at the end of the day. If it's Laporta, Jacoby, and you're already starting somebody who's pretty decent, then you don't have to do that. But otherwise, I would. Engram is just obviously one of my favorite players, but kind of he's like the new Dallas Goedert, where he gets a bunch of screens, he gets some targets, but they are not throwing to him in the red zone, and that's a big difference maker for some of these guys. Yeah, he just did no red zone targets. Dallas Goedert, the over under for him for touchdowns, Vegas set it at 3.5 this year, and I think he just scored his first one last week. So, and Engram is very much a similar player now.
Cool. Rod Elliott wants to know, is Miles Sanders droppable or just a stash? I'm stashing him.
I'm stashing too. Yeah. But again, if your benches only have like 4 or 5 players and you need to add a player to start in your lineup, then you can drop him. But I'm stashing. Somebody dropped him, but I picked him up in a league.
G Gallon in here. G Gallon 40 again asking about still waiting on his QB. I don't know. He keeps posting the same question, but he does want to know Giants D or Falcons D. Why would you play either? Are those your only 2 options this week?
Falcons D versus Jaron Hall. Falcons D versus Jaron Hall.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I wouldn't start the Giants versus Aidan O'Connell because I think that they're going to be fine, but I think I would do the Falcons versus Jaron Hall. I think that's pretty reasonable.
All right. Good. Addison or Downs this week? Oh, there you go. It's Jaron Allen here.
Jaron Hall. Yeah. Might as well be Jaron Allen, right?
Jaron Hall, Jaron Allen. Yeah, it's all the same.
Yeah. So
right, they would be better off with Jared Allen under center.
Dude, I have the funniest GIF I got to send you of Jared Allen throwing a football and he just throwing it over his head with 2 hands like a complete meatball.
Which would probably still be better than Jaron Hall.
About as good as Tommy DeVito, dude. Right?
Oh my God.
Brutal. So yeah, it's Downs for sure. It's
better
Downs
off,
regardless.
Better off with Danny DeVito. Am I right?
If I would start down, even if Joshua Dobbs somehow started, I would still be Downs.
Rod Elliott says he's got Goff on a bye. Would you want to play Mac Jones, Daniel Jones, Zach Wilson, or Taylor Heinicke?
Gross, dude. I think I'd actually start Zach Wilson. Yeah.
Against the Chargers? I was thinking it's either Zach Wilson or Heinicke, only for the fact that they're going to use Bijan as a receiver.
Yeah.
Heinicke is going to throw, and it is Minnesota, and their pass defense is
right. You can't start Daniel Jones because he has the neck issue, and I mean he could play 5 snaps and be done for the day. I just can't trust that at all. So yeah. I kind of like Heinicke. You don't know. What about the Jets-tacular on Monday, though, Aaron? You don't want to have a little Zach Wilson?
I mean, listen, they just signed Roger Saffold, hoping to build that offensive line. I just, when you're talking about the pass rush from the Chargers, which is like the only good thing about their defense, I could still see them dominating the line of scrimmage and really just, I mean, how bad did Zach Wilson look getting chased down by the Giants on the regular there? That was terrible.
He literally plays like he thinks he's still at BYU, where he can just run away. They always catch him. He's like, oh my God, they're so fast here in the NFL. They always get him, dude. It's like you got to learn, man. You got to throw it in this league, dude. So that is funny, but I don't know. You don't get negative points for sacks.
Rod Elliott wants to know, is this Howard or Shannon? Well, this is Howard. Shan's beard was a lot bushier than mine. Ant Kills 99 says from Twitch, do I start Josh Downs or Scary Terry?
Terry's got a bad matchup, huh? No, he doesn't.
No,
Well,
he's got
I mean,
a
the
good matchup.
Patriots, yeah, I think it's going to be Terry. Unless maybe in full PPR, but Josh Downs is a very safe but boring player. I'd put him kind of in the Michael Thomas range. Like, he's going to get targets, but he's going to need a lot to crack 100, or he's going to need to kind of break one off. So I think I'd go Terry.
Sean123 again wants to know, whenever Kyron Williams returns, do you think he takes over that backfield again?
Boy, I sure hope so, but he has a coach that is one of those hot hands guys, so you never know.
I think Kyron Williams comes back. I think maybe Darrell Henderson kind of stays around, but I think Royce Freeman and Zach Evans are.
Yeah, I feel that.
Let's see. Patrick G. Mafia says, so happy Downs signed in Minnesota. I traded for JJ a couple of weeks ago. Good job.
There you go.
Let's see. Dobbs, he meant. Not,
Dobbs, yeah. That's what
I knew exactly what you meant there. There's no way that Josh Downs over Josh Dobbs.
We're right in here with you, buddy.
We're there. What do you think about Darrell Henderson and Miles Sanders for James Conner? Dude, I would offer that up in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean,
that's the exact kind of trade we're doing. That's the exact kind of trade we're doing, especially if you're looking good, because down the stretch, Darrell Henderson might go away. Miles Sanders, I mean, he's not even really playing. James Conner is going to be back. So, like, down the stretch, James Conner is going to be probably worth more than both those guys. I mean, definitely more. Honestly.
Definitely worth more than both those guys combined.
Yeah, for sure.
Chris Alvis telling us that Kyle Shanahan's 0-39 when trailing by 8 going into the fourth quarter. Dude can only coach with a lead.
Damn. That's a crazy stat, dude. I mean, I'd like to know which coach is the best in those situations, because down by 8 going in the fourth quarter is a bad spot, but to never win, to never have won, that's kind of wild.
Has Kyle Shanahan ever had like that go-to quarterback, like the guy who like you want the ball in his hands? Has he ever had a Peyton Manning or a Tom Brady or anybody like that?
No, he had Matt Ryan, which was probably the closest, but Matt Ryan is the exact kind of guy.
Adorable that you would even think about putting Matt Ryan's name in there. With like
I'm just saying you ask who his best quarterback is. The best, I'd say that's where you're at, right? Do you have anybody good in Washington? No, not really.
No. How do you feel about Jordan Addison with Josh Dobbs? I'm fine with it.
I think your emoji's perfect there. The melt face emoji. You just got to deal with it, dog. You just got to deal with that, dude. So,
I mean, you got to figure you're going to see a lot of the short passing game. Like, occasionally they'll try and air it out, but I think this is like an Addison, Brandon Powell kind of like, keep the guys in underneath routes a lot. A lot of TJ Hawkinson in there.
Yeah. Got it. Great. The trade was great news for Hawkinson, man. Josh Dobbs just threw 14 targets to Trey McBride last.
That was nice, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Although I've got a big steak dinner bet on Hawkinson's
that's right.
Over under on his targets right now. So we'll see.
Pump the brakes.
How do you feel about we saw that. Should I drop Goff? We answered that. Wow, bold take. I respect that I traded Eckler from Montgomery and Jefferson.
So he's talking about I think he posted that when you were talking about trading Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll trade Eckler too. And honestly, Howard, you were on board with the kind of fade Eckler a little bit game too. So
I did not want to take him at his ADP where everybody was drafting him.
4.
What are Rashee Rice's splits sans Tate?
That's a good question. I
don't know.
I'll pull up his stats. You hit another question in the chat while I'm looking this up.
Let's see. Kelsey's been banged up. Yes, gave the babe in the house. I plan to try to sell Andrews for Laporta or Kelsey when they are back from bye and before Andrews bye. I think it's a solid move. I think if you need, nobody's going to give you Andrews, Kelsey straight up for Andrews. I highly doubt anybody's going to do that, but you could possibly get Andrews straight up for Laporta. You might even be able to get somebody to throw in like a little sweetener, especially if Andrews has like a big week this week.
Right. Yeah, and Laporta, I mean, you got to admit, we all watched the game this week because there's a primetime game. They were looking for him in the red area. They wanted to get it to him. He was the go-to guy. Even at the end of the game, when they had the game in hand, they threw him one in that red area and he dropped it. But like, he's the guy. He's the man. I love that for him. That's the difference between a Laporta and Evan Engram for me that puts Laporta ahead, is that they're both getting targets, but Laporta is the man in the goal in the red area. And I got those Rushy Rice numbers going through. His games are all identical, really, to be honest. It's like, catches 4 or 5 targets and either scores or doesn't. So it doesn't look like he's got any Tay correlation, though he has started the last 2 weeks, which is nice.
He started the last 2 weeks. Is that what you just said?
I went through there's no correlation, unfortunately. That'd have been awesome if it was like he only scores in away games or games that she's not at, but no, there's no correlation there.
What a surprise. You can't figure out where the ball's going in Kansas City.
Who would have guessed?
Andy Reid just sitting there in his office like
right. Yeah. Especially it's like that's what happens when the quarterback on half the plays just ignores whatever the play call is and just turns around and runs around. You know what I mean? Like, and mixes it all up and the play lasts 10 seconds. Like at that point, it's free for all.
Sean123 says, can you rank my team in a 10-man PPR? It's kind of tough to rank your team compared to other teams that we don't know, but he's got Herbert and Lawrence. He's got McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Swift, Henderson, Sanders, and Kyron on IR. He's got A.J. Brown, Adam Thielen, DJ Moore, Zay Flowers, Cortland Sutton. He's got Andrews and Kincaid.
I mean, you have all the players I like. So
yeah, I mean, it's got to be it's got to be a top 3 team easily. In the 10-man.
Easily, dude. AJ. I mean, you have the best running back in the league in Christian McCaffrey. You have it's either AJ Brown or Tyreek Hill as the best wide receiver. I mean, Mark Andrews is the tight end 2 in points per game. Dalton Kincaid is obviously a megastar. So there's really nothing not like there. Adam Thielen's a wide receiver 1. DeAndre Swift is kind of an RB1. So yeah, team's sick. Herbert, awesome. Yeah, great team.
Gabe the Babe says half point PPR 10-man league. Pick 2 from London, Pittman, Nico, and Cooper.
All right. Is there anything here we need to avoid? Pittman's got a good matchup.
Pittman's in a great spot. I've got him in the watch list. I'm looking at him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually I think I've got Amari Cooper in there, but I don't know what the QB situation is. To answer this question today on a Wednesday, right? I'm saying London and Pittman, but that could change. I could pivot off of London if I don't like what I see in practice reports and videos out of the Falcons this week.
Right. Yep. I'm with you on that. I mean, PJ Walker's not terrible, so Amari could be all right, but I think it's London and Pittman.
How many of these overseas games have ever gone over? Ever? I mean, the games that were being played in Tottenham Hotspur actually were they were going over. The Wembley ones were under. Germany, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know anything about the elevation. Like I know when they play in Mexico City, you want the kickers because the elevation is like Denver. It's like higher than Denver, but I don't have data on that. I'll have to I'll look into it. Hal.
Playing a game in Mexico City is it's like smoking a pack of cigarettes, dude. It's crazy the elevation plus the air quality there. I don't know if they should do more of those games.
Smoking cigarettes.
Sick, right? Now that we're grown ups,
Oh no, I was a smoker as a grown up too. Just a nagging wife. Can't change me. You can't change me.
Don't you hate when you have people that care about you? They get in the way of everything.
I do. Love me less. Love me less. Would you start Josh Downs? This is from Crossed One, Cross Doctor, or Crossed R1. Either way, Twitch classes are fine. Josh Downs or Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams, no question. New regime, he's been popping off. I mean, if he doesn't get 87 targets in this game, then there's no hope.
Spike game, dude. The big spike game coming. Here we go.
Huge spike game. Huge. Let's see. Assuming I bench I'm not starting either one of those guys over Jordan Addison.
I think I'm starting Addison there. Yeah.
I traded away Amari Cooper for Deebo Samuel. Good move. Great.
Ask us. Yeah. Don't ask John and Pemba. He'll tell you that you can't trade for injured players, but I think you can. I think you can. I always do that when I'm on with John Howard. Not sure if you've ever seen, but he'll be like, "You don't trade for injured players," and I'll be like, "Yeah, you don't," and I'll go, "Do it. Trade for Jefferson." Yeah, can't trade for injured players. Do it. Do the trade.
I'm okay with that. Patrick G. Mafia says DeVito was the best Penguin. No, Burgess Meredith was the best Penguin.
Oh, I don't know if I've seen that one.
That's the original Batman. Like the original Batman TV show, Burgess Meredith played the Penguin.
Wow. No, I've not seen this one.
You're gonna eat thunder and you're gonna crap lightning.
That's
Come
amazing.
on, man. Burgess Meredith.
Oh, he was in Rocky, this guy, yeah? Burgess
Yes,
Meredith?
he was Mickey.
Oh, okay,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
I know this
This
actor.
guy was in Rocky. How?
I just don't know this guy, dude.
I'm out.
You think how many do you think I've seen Batman TV shows from the 60s, dude? What are you talking about, dude? This is crazy. But at least I recognize who he was.
Well, I wasn't even listening to you.
You asked me about the Batman TV shows from this guy was born in 1907, Howard. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know who this guy is, dude. The fact that I even
iconic person though. Burgess Meredith is an iconic person.
and I recognized him. I was like, that guy in the boxing movie.
Who's this guy in? It was the boxing movie. Oh my Lord. Oh damn, I'm old.
Yeah.
Oh, you're killing me.
I'll have to check him out. He does in the pictures here. He does look like an interesting. I did like DeVito. I liked the Colin Farrell version of the Penguin and the new one too. I like the new Batman.
All right, time for some rapid fire. Let's clear the deck here, huh? Thoughts on the Saints defense this week against the Bears? I'm in.
Yeah, absolutely.
14 team Superflex. I've got O'Connell. Should I try to get Heinicke? My other QB is Fields and PJ Walker.
I would just start PJ Walker, to be honest.
Okay, there you go. Who can I get back for Hopkins right now?
Everyone knows what you're up to, dude. So you know what I mean? Trade him before Thursday, but I don't know. Hopkins is on the up and up. Target back end RB2 type guys. Heck, just try. See what you can do. Trade for Mixon. Throw offers out for Mixon, Jonathan Taylor. Cat's out of the bag on Breece Hall and the gang, but I don't know. Rashad White.
Yeah, there you go. Send Zay Flowers and I'm assuming that's James Cook for Devontae Adams.
I would. I'm worried about Leonard Fournette. I really am.
Yep. Shanny can coach. He never has the QB to come back. That's from Hal.
That's
Sean
fair.
123 says Marty Ice.
See, that's
he corrected it with Matty Ice, but let's
Marty Ice.
Marty Ice.
He did play like more of a Marty, I feel like.
Really did. Smokey the Cat in the house here. Give Gibbs to get Olave or Puka, or just hold Gibbs.
I think that's a fair trade if it helps your lineup. Put it that way. That's exactly the kind of trade you need to make if you have extra running backs and need wide receivers. But most times I just keep the running back.
I do as well. Josh Dobbs, the next Ryan Fitzpatrick or Teddy Bridgewater from Patrick G Mafia. Those are pretty good comps. Kelsey for Laporta and ETN. They're both on a bye. Good time to pounce.
Immediately, if you can do that. Immediately. Yeah. ETN. I would trade Kelsey straight up for ETN.
I don't hate that. If they counter with Kincaid and ETN for Kelsey, still make that move?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll just figure tight end out. Tight end we can figure out.
After week 1, I traded Garrett Wilson and Tyler Algier for Justin Herbert, Swift, and Flowers. Feeling pretty good about it. Yeah, you can flaunt that one.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you trade Hopkins and Mostert for Jalen Waddle?
Oh man. I don't know.
I don't know if I would do that. I think you need
should be able to get
back.
more. You should be able to get more because Mostert's he's like RB like 4 right now. You should be able to get more back.
Yeah. And even with Achane eventually coming back, Mostert isn't going away.
No.
Like Achane and Mostert will end up in like a 50-50 split, right? And that's still great. Like I'll take those guys in a 50-50 split over some starting run over Rachaad White any day. How about that?
I mean, they were both RB1s when Achane got hurt.
If targeting a wide receiver, would you go after Christian Kirk or Michael Pittman?
I like Michael Pittman. I like the fact that he plays every snap. Christian Kirk, there's still that Zay Jones coming back. You know? Zay Jones coming back.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I'm all Pittman.
Yeah. I'm all Pittman. Yeah.
Sorry, I was just looking at all these Batman, R.I.P. Adam West. This shows 200. That shows 200 years old.
Attaboy, George. George got my back. Boston boys got my back.
Yes, I meant Flowers for my question. So it's Zay Flowers and James Cook for Adams. Yep, we're still in on that.
Still doing that. Yeah.
Trade Kenneth Walker and Michael Thomas for Bijan and Watson. Is that Christian Watson? I'm assuming.
I'd say do it though. Michael Thomas is kind of just man, and I am a little worried that Charbonnet might be peeling away that
in a little.
I think he's getting that. He ran the 2-minute drill himself this week, and that's kind of a big deal.
All right. Trade Joe Mixon for James Cook and Brandon Ayuk.
If you need Ayuk bad, I would. Otherwise, I like Joe Mixon.
Yeah, like Ayuk has to go into your starting lineup and stay in your starting lineup for you to make that move.
Joe Mixon could be a league winner, man. He just ran it. He just had a good game against the 49ers, and the schedule is good.
Yeah. Tyreek for DJ Moore and Amari Cooper. I want to be on the Tyreek side all day, every day.
It's amazing. He's 1,000 yards, dude.
Yeah. Would you trade Ridley, Gabe Davis to receive Devontae Adams?
Yeah.
Half-point PPR? Yeah.
Gabe Davis is useless, dude. When do you start Gabe Davis? When do you sit there and you're like, yeah, Gabe Davis, let's go.
You start Gabe Davis the week after he has a big game, and then he craps the bed, and then you never start him again.
Right. He's such a best ball player because he's going to catch a 50-yard touchdown pass. You just don't know when. One of these games, he's going to have 3 touchdowns. I'm telling you right now. I just try and guess.
Yeah, good luck.
Right.
Good luck. What's more difficult to predict, a Taysom Hill touchdown or a Gabe Davis touchdown?
They're the same picture. You know what I mean? It's just like, right? It's this one's your locker. This one's the landfill. They're both your locker, right? So yeah, I don't know, dude. I just don't trust players like that, and I don't want them on my team. So that trade is to me Ridley for Devontae Adams, and I take Devontae Adams.
All right. Well, we've cleared the deck. We thank everybody so much for tuning in here to another beautiful Alarm Fantasy Football. Before we get out of here, I want to shout out to our sponsors, Underdog Fantasy. And remember, guys, Underdog Fantasy, go to fantasyalarm.com/underdog. Use that promo code FantasyAlarm. Yeah, fantasyalarm.com/underdog. Use that promo code ALARM. Get you an instant first deposit match up to $500. Coop, you got a quick pick 'em for us?
Yeah, I got for Thursday because I'm going to do tackle monster tomorrow. So Chig Okonkwo, 2.5 receptions. I mean, he had a bad drop this week, but he still caught 4 or 6 targets. I'm going higher on that one. I'm getting Chiggy with it. We're playing the Will Levis game here. That's going to be a fun one. So get Chig into whatever you're doing for your big Thursday one. We're going to have more Thursday picks tomorrow, but get Chig in now.
All right. I'm going to go with a popular player talked about today, Michael Pittman, 55.5 receiving yards. I'm going to say higher. Going up against this Carolina team. Again, Carolina can't do it twice in a row. I'm going to the Colts here. Michael Pittman's the number 1 receiver for this. Yes, Josh Downs gets a great target share, and he helps move the chains, but Michael Pittman still the number 1. Remember, guys, fantasyalarm.com/underdog. Use that promo code ALARM. That'll get you an instant deposit match on your first deposit up to $500. That's going to do it for us here. Big thank you to our producer, Adam Bernard. For Andrew Cooper, I'm Howard Bender. This has been Alarm Fantasy Football. We'll catch you next time.